Hey now. Go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Champions. You play in the NBA, and that's what you want to be. All season long through city rivalries and superstar matchups, the best basketball players in the entire world battle for that one good shot at the title. Come playoff time, the ring is the thing. And in 1983, every man in the NBA has that championship feeling. New York is the home of the high and the mighty, but when the Knicks fell on hard times, Madison Square Garden didn't get 7 games in May. In 1983, the New York Knicks have re-arisen, and their fans have returned to the world's most famous arena to see how far their unexpected heroes can go. 10 years ago, the Knicks were in their glory, and their resurgence is national news.
New York is a media center of this country, all right? And when the Knicks are thriving, nothing may be better for the NBA to see this kind of atmosphere. I mean, that sort of a thing. In other words, we've never said
the glory years here from 10 years ago, and
right.
They want them back.
You know the Knicks are hot when the Garden is filled with famous faces, and Peter Falk, Brooklyn's own Elliott Gould, Mia Farrow and Woody Allen are all players in this celebrity circus. Hubie Brown brought his pattern play and fiery coaching style to New York, and led by the explosive, hard-driving Bernard King, the Knicks took on the Philadelphia 76ers. Brown called for total effort, and the Knicks fans were screaming for the upset. But when Sixer coach Billy Cunningham needed the game in hand, he called on center Moses Malone, and Moses went to work. In 1983, Moses was the NBA's most valuable player, and the Sixers won the Atlantic Division title with the league's best record. Against the Knicks, he was at his best. It was his intensity that drove the Sixers. With his rebounding muscle and light shooting touch, he played like a combination locomotive and glider, sometimes thundering, sometimes floating gracefully, and every so often going completely wild. The Sixers took the first 2 games by outplaying the hustling but overmatched Knickerbockers. Game 3, though, came down to the wire. The Knicks had led, but the Sixers had fought back hard. With the game tied and only seconds remaining, guard Franklin Edwards put up a tough clutch jumper that caught the glass and fell through for the victory. Philadelphia swept the series in 4 straight, and the Knicks' hopes were shattered. But Billy Cunningham was glad to put it behind him, and the Knicks could walk tall. Knicks general manager Dave DeBusschere was proud of his team.
Even though we didn't win a game, and it's not nice to walk out of a series 4-0, no one likes that, but they knew they were in a battle.
The chief demolition man and top road warrior was Moses Malone. Knicks coach Hubie Brown was overwhelmed.
Moses Malone was absolutely awesome. They cannot pay him enough. The man is a real man, and our entire team, we take our hat off to him.
he's just truly something special.
Playoff time always lights up the city of Boston, and the Boston Celtics have a very special tradition of excellence. Champions only 2 years before, and with that squad still very much intact, the Celtics and their fans expected no less than victory. Larry Bird led the team, and Coach Bill Fitch hoped to silence his critics and motivate his men to continue the Celtic tradition. Bucks coach Don Nelson, a former Celtic, had Milwaukee well prepared, and Boston import Dave Cowens, though injured, lent his presence. The Bucks came out and performed with style. They were building a tradition of their own. The driving force of Sidney Moncrief, the sweet touch and aggressive power of Marcus Johnson, and the authority of Captain Bob Lanier went right at the surprise Celtics. Coach Fitch needed time to regroup, but Danny Ainge was confused, Larry Bird was stunned, and even ex-Celtic great John Havlicek couldn't believe it as the Bucks went back to Milwaukee 2 games up. During the season, Boston had had the league's 3rd best road record, but a real upset was brewing. When the Bucks won Game 3, their fans were calling for the unthinkable. Boston had never been swept, but in Game 4, the Bucks had a handle on them. It was the Marcus and Sidney show. Sidney to Marcus. Marcus to Sidney. The Bucks ran out to a 9-point lead at the half as Johnson and Moncrief grabbed at the chance to take it in 4. The Bucks were primed and ready for a tough final fight. But when the lead reached 20, even the extremely cautious Coach Nelson was thinking about a sweep. Milwaukee's tenacious defense forced Boston into sloppy play and then worked their fast break to perfection. The Celtics were stunned, outplayed by a hungrier team, and the Milwaukee fans ate it up. For Bob Lanier, his coach and teammates, it was sweet and satisfying. But the Celts took it hard. In their 30 years of NBA playoff history, the Celtics had never been swept. But Milwaukee overmatched every part of their game with great players and fine plays. This was a soul-satisfying victory that surprised the embarrassed Celtics and Coach Nelson.
We flat out beat Boston, and we played very well to do it. Am I surprised that we beat them in 4 straight? Why, certainly. I didn't think that that was possible.
It's like flunking a test in school. You know, it has been done so many times in this uniform, and all of a sudden you come up short. It leaves you a lonesome feeling.
But the Bucks had to enjoy their sweep in a hurry because waiting for them were the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers were a dream team led by Dr. J and Moses Malone, but Philly fans knew where to look in the clutch.
Bobby Jones for defense. There ain't nobody else. There ain't nobody else.
Bobby Jones is a throwback, a quiet, reserved man off the court. On it, he is transformed. When Coach Billy Cunningham needs inspired defense, he just looks down the bench.
Bobby just adds so many dimensions to us. You know, he's the type of player that you can't judge what he's done for a team by looking at a box score because he's such an outstanding team defensive ball player.
Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final was as close as it gets. Jones blocked a baseline shot by Marcus Johnson to send it into overtime, and the pressure was crushing. With Philly down by 1 point, Jones snaked inside, stole the inbounds pass, and hit Clint Richardson. It was a game breaker. Philly won by 2 points. And Coach Nelson looked like the game had been stolen. But for Bobby Jones, it was all in a day's work.
I think that's part of my job is to play defense, try to get a steal, try to get something going, get out on the break, and try to create something for somebody else.
Game 2 was just as intense. Up by only 2 late in the 4th quarter, Jones hammered Brian Winters, got the block, and the Sixers blew down court. Cheeks hit the doctor, who jammed it. The Bucks couldn't believe it. Instead of a tie game, they were down by 4, and though they cried foul, the bucket stood. When the final buzzer sounded, the Sixers took a 2-game lead into Milwaukee. Maurice Cheeks likes what he sees. In Game 3, he scored 7 straight points in another crucial fourth quarter to lead Philadelphia to victory. The Bucks looked beaten, and their fans were realistic.
Unfortunately, Milwaukee and Philadelphia have to play each other off before you can get to the big game. And it's happened before, and it continues happening. It's just a shame you got to play Philadelphia every time to get into the last game.
In Game 4, the Bucks were playing for pride. They refused to go down easy. Again, the game was close all the way, but this time, with balanced scoring and some clutch play off the bench, they held off the Sixers' charge. The Bucks won it in the last quarter, but they were still deep in the hole.
You think back to the number of teams that have been down 3-0 and have come back to win. Does it bother you?
Have there been any?
No.
Oh, okay.
Heading back to Philadelphia, the Bucks knew they had to buckle down to business. Their season was riding on these games, and they had traveled too far to come up empty. They knew they had to go all out.
And no better time than tonight, because it's sudden death for Milwaukee the rest of the way, as the 76ers look to wrap it up in Game 5 from the Spectrum.
Confidence was flowing outside as well.
Little Mo, Big Mo, the Doctor, Andrew Toney, and Ivoroni. No baloney. Sixers all the way.
Philly fans wanted to put an end to the Bucks' one-game win streak. And the Sixers set out early to shut down the Bucks' offense and run away with the game. The entire team hit its stride, played their best game of the series with outside shooting, inside muscle, and some sweet movement. Philly loved its heroes. Moses put in a full night's work, and the Sixers had this one in the bag with time to spare. Julius Erving led the way, Bobby Jones played his solid D, and the whole Sixers squad contributed. The fans could see their stars were shining brightly. When Moses had joined the team at the start of the season, there'd been some question about team harmony. Now they had blended perfectly and were going to the NBA Finals.
It was just our best performance that we've had so far in the playoffs. And it leaves me with a good taste in my mouth because of the way we played.
Whenever they had to do something on the court, they did it efficiently. They met every challenge that we gave them.
They're the next world champions as far as I'm concerned, without any question. This is the best team that I've seen in 10 years.
Obviously, you're disappointed, but you just got your butt kicked. That's about it.
In his 13-year career, Bob Lanier has never had the chance to shine in the spotlight of an NBA final. He'd trade almost anything for one title shot.
Because when all is said and done, they'll say that he never got that ring.
Bob Lanier isn't the only man to live with this frustration. In the history of the NBA, there have been many extraordinary ball players. Men like Dave Bing, who played with grace and heart, but never went all the way. Out west, the San Antonio Spurs were in line for a title shot. George Gervin was another man who had only come close.
I'm 30 years old. I've been playing 10 years, and I've won a lot of scoring titles, and I've gained a lot of respect, and a lot of people admire me from winning that scoring title. But what's real to me is that's winning a championship.
Rest of the series to shut down Gervin and make guard Johnny Moore beat the Nuggets. Moore was up to the task.
He was out in the street. He did not even have a job 3 years ago, came to training camp and earned it, and now is starting to receive the recognition that he rightfully deserves.
For the next 4 games, Moore went wild, scoring 39 points one night, dishing off a playoff record of 20 assists another, and taking a firm hand in leading the Spurs to victory. Coach Mo's best words were lost as the Spurs had the series in their grasp and powered their way into the conference finals. In the other Western semifinal, the upstart Portland Trail Blazers lost the first 2 games to the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers coach Pat Riley had some heavy guns to go to, but his squad was not at full strength. Number 1 draft choice James Worthy had broken his leg in a late-season accident, and veteran front court man Bob McAdoo was also out of action.
That's just the breaks of the game. We have injuries, and, you know, we're trying to play with them. Me and James Worthy were really important. You know, when you miss 30 points, it's going to hurt you.
The burden fell on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the Laker captain responded magnificently in the first 2 games. Kareem was no favorite at the Portland Memorial Coliseum. Blazer fans were hungry. But Coach Jack Ramsey knew his team was not as gifted as the Lakers, and if the Blazers were going to win, he would have to come up with an inspired game plan. Ramsey was respected as perhaps the league's best coach, and he was going to have to win with the smarts and strength. The book on Kareem is that you have to muscle him, and the Trailblazers went after him at every opportunity. Coach Ramsey approved, and the plan was working, as the Blazers, led by all-star guard Jim Paxson, would not give up and push the game into overtime. But when Coach Riley wanted the big play, he looked to the big guy. With Game 3 on the line and time running down, Abdul-Jabbar stormed out and put up his famous skyhook. That was it for the Blazers. The Lakers took the series in 5, and Abdul-Jabbar showed again that he is at the top of his game. In his 14-year NBA career, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has been voted Most Valuable Player a record 6 times and has played on 3 championship teams. Even as he grows older, the playoffs are his time.
Guys aren't supposed to be playing the way he's playing when you're 36, and you know, he's constantly criticized and harangued during the regular season, and during the playoffs, you know, the Kareem always rises to the top.
To be in my position of being the only one to have been able to do what I do as well as I do, the way I've done it, you know, I think I've held that position, and it's great, but it's lonely up there on the top.
Abdul-Jabbar has been thought of as aloof and distant, but in recent years, he has made the effort to lighten up. He's acted in the movies, appeared on TV, and written his autobiography. Kareem has been exploring his childhood for answers.
You got to remember, I was like maybe 6'2" when I was 12 years old, very awkward, and I was also the only black kid around in an Irish neighborhood, and which kind of made me stick out a little bit. And I was always, you know, people were always giving me the triple takes, and it's affected my perception of myself. And I always had anxieties about that. and it stayed with me, you know, through my adult life. Now I understand a lot more about how people appreciate me. I used to back off. Now I don't.
In 1983, Kareem had to deal with personal tragedy.
When my home burned and I lost everything I owned, I said to myself, hey, what am I doing playing basketball? But ultimately, I will be glad that it happened because it's been a very, very valuable lesson. We get attached to things, and they're nothing more than that, things. Some of them are beautiful, some of them are expensive, some of them we love very much, but they have very little to do with the real quality of our life.
Okay, guys, I need you really close together.
In the Western Conference Finals, one of the important matchups was fire and ice. George Iceman Gervin and the burning sensation of Irvin Magic Johnson. Few men have ever exploded into the NBA like Magic. Already on 2 championship teams, he has admirers all around the league.
I don't think that there's perhaps maybe a better player in this game. If I were starting the franchise tomorrow, I would want Magic Johnson.
I think he's the epitome of competitors. You know, lets it all hang out, and it's all for the cause. He wants to win. He wants to win in the worst way, and you have to respect that.
Magic has made winning even more fun. He's an exuberant Hollywood entertainer, and he shines in Showtime.
I like people to look at me as a guy that tried to give them the best show possible that their money could buy. And I wanted them to go home or to the office the next day and say, you missed the Magic show last night.
The Spurs and Lakers had split in Los Angeles, giving San Antonio the home court advantage. Coach Riley's game plan shut down Gervin, and Magic took matters in his own hands. In Game 3, he sprang for a triple-double, double figures in assists, points, and rebounds. In Game 4, he left the Spurs totally jangled. San Antonio couldn't get a break, while the Lakers worked theirs to perfection. They stunned the hometown fans by running away from the Spurs, filling the lanes, passing with abandon. It was classic fast break, Showtime basketball.
They're a veteran crew that absolutely takes you apart when you make a mistake.
Sometimes you take for granted that you do have a championship, and you forget what you had to do to get it. So to retain it and to keep it takes even more. And I think they realize that tonight.
Back in L.A. for Game 5, the Spurs looked sharp but needed every edge they could get.
Good luck, big guy. Thank you.
Artis Gilmore, through a distinguished career, had never faced this kind of high-level pressure. Down 3-1, he and his teammates needed a lift.
You ready to go?
Until trading for Gilmore, Coach Albeck and the Spurs had never had a dominating center, and Gilmore had never come this close to an NBA title.
Going to San Antonio have given me this new life and new energies and the hopes of being in contention for the title.
If you are going to play in the Western Conference, somewhere along the line in the playoffs, you're going to have to meet the Los Angeles Lakers. They absolutely lined us up against the wall, and without the benefits of blindfolds, executed us a year ago, 4-zip. I feel very strongly that one thing that the Spurs lacked is that they did not have a quality person such as an Artis Gilmore.
Gilmore played this game tough. He battled on the boards, played inspired defense, and was every inch the man in the middle. Gilmore's 14 rebounds and 25 points led the Spurs. And disheartened Laker fans. L.A. had wanted to put this one away and rest up for the Sixers, but the Spurs brought the series back to San Antonio. The Spurs were all jingling, banking on the win. San Antonio is an historic city. Once a place of blood and battle, it is now very pretty and serene. But something happens once Spurs fans hit the hemisphere. They've got fast fiddlers and baseline bums, and a team that's every bit as loose as its fans. Hard to tell their season was right down to it. The Lakers handled things in different ways. They're a veteran ball club used to getting up for big games. They'd heard this song before. This pressure was no mystery. Outside the arena, Spurs fans were confident.
We are gonna win.
Los Angeles was looking to wrap this one up. Abdul-Jabbar was serious. This was his time, and the Lakers jumped off to a quick early advantage. The fast break, which had fueled the Lakers all season, rocketed them to a 9-point lead at the half, and the Spurs couldn't stand in their way. The Lakers had shut down Gervin, so Coach Albeck tapped Mike Mitchell, who immediately responded. Often overlooked in the media swirl around his teammates, Mitchell proved a clutch shooter who's just emerging as an NBA force. The Lakers led by 8. But Albeck's Spurs had cut into the lead until it was hardly there at all. 1 point, 10 seconds, Spurs ball. Magic Johnson was poised. Albeck had to attack the Laker defense. For Spurs fans, they've been waiting for this moment for years. Had Gilmore's time come? Abdul-Jabbar was ready. These are the split seconds that can transform a player into an NBA star. Johnny Moore to Mike Mitchell. The Lakers smothered him, but Mitchell recovered, and with desperate concentration let the ball fly. Gilmore skied, but time ran out. The Lakers dashed into the finals, but it had been a deeply draining battle. Full of passion, pride, and hard-earned respect. The Lakers saluted their captain.
Hey, he's not the player of the game, he's the player of the century. The player of the century.
Kareem and the Lakers had been supremely tested and passed into the championship round. But for Artis Gilmore, who played equally hard and came so close, it was a difficult time.
This is going to be an emotional summer for me, but for the Spurs, we know that all these things was a learning and a growth for us, me especially.
Professional athletes live with applause. They win and often depend on the affection of friends and strangers. But when the game is done and the real world awaits, it's not easy to lose. More than 300 of the world's most talented basketball players have gone at each other, and now it is down to this: the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Philadelphia 76ers for the 1983 NBA World Championship. In Philadelphia, it was real serious. The Sixers and the Lakers were beginning the final challenge, and the town was turned on.
We're the Philadelphia fans, we're the best in the land, and we're hot, hot. To the spectrum everyone, 'cause the Sixers have begun to get hot, hot. So get on up, come one, come all, to the Sixers style of basketball. We're Philly town, we never quit. We're gonna take that championship. To the spectrum everyone, 'cause the Sixers have begun to get hot.
Moses, Dr. J, the whole team, the guards, the 4 guards are incredible. The whole team's incredible.
Sixers, because they got the best bench, and they got Moses Malone, the top rebounder. They're excellent. #1, all the way.
LA might have a magician, but we got the position.
And it's followed forward, number 6, captain of the Eastern Conference Championship team, forward Julius Irving.
The Sixers were favored and ready. They'd lost to the Lakers in 2 of the last 3 finals, and nothing but a championship would satisfy their fans. This was a great rematch with one major difference. The Sixers had signed free agent Moses Malone, and he was unstoppable. Nobody was denying Moses, and Billy Cunningham used Malone's muscle to develop his championship series game plan.
It's the book on the Lakers. They're a finesse team, and you have to, beat them up. You have to play physical. You have to attack. You have to go over the top. You have to make them muscle. And we've been able to deal with it. We won a championship 2 out of the last 3 years.
The year before, Cunningham's Sixers had been swamped by the Lakers' swarming trap defense, and he knew he'd face it again. But this year, the Sixers countered by spreading their offense, opening up the floor, snapping their passes, and hitting their shots. This was a major strategic triumph in Cunningham's quest to coach a champion. Billy Cunningham knows about championships. He came off the bench as the valued 6th man on the 1966-67 Philadelphia team that many consider to be the best in NBA history.
When I was a player, I thought of myself as a student of the game. And I tried to evaluate the team we were going to play, how I was going to help the team win. And then when I became a coach, I thought I'd be able to step in and be able to do a good job right away. But the thing that amazes me is how much work you have to do if you're going to be successful in this business.
Cunningham takes his job seriously. His close friend, Julius Erving, knows the depth of Cunningham's commitment.
We have off days, but he doesn't take a day off, and you can see that, and sometimes you can see the wear and the tear and the drain on him. But he recovers from that and he bounces back, and he gets back into the task of what he feels it takes to lead his team to a championship.
It's nice to hear somebody say, you'd like to see Julius get a ring, or Billy get a ring, or Moses get a ring. There's only one place you get it. It's on the court. It's very nice to talk about those things. It's another thing to do it. And the only way we're going to do it is just by hard work.
Against the Lakers, Cunningham was prepared, but early in the first quarter, one head-on collision altered the entire series. Sixer guard Andrew Toney and the Lakers' Norm Nixon laid each other out. It looked serious. Toney bruised his head, and Nixon remained in the game. Cunningham had to go to his bench. It was the best move he made all day. Sixer guard Clint Richardson is the classic role player. He does what he's asked to do. In Game 1, the Sixers needed scoring, and he hit for 10 points in the third quarter and sparked his teammates. Playing in place of the injured Toney, Richardson's second-half defense, rebounding and scoring were key as the Sixers forged a lead. Pat Riley needed to regroup his squad, and if the Philly fans thought it was over, they should have known better than to count out the Lakers. L.A. tightened their trap, stole the ball, ran, and cut into the Philadelphia lead. Now it was Cunningham's turn to try and stop the flow. The Lakers were tired. They had beaten San Antonio only 36 hours before, and their aggressive trapping defense was taking its toll. The Sixers prepared for one more Laker charge, and Coach Riley felt the game was up in the air. It turned on one play. Down by only 6 points, the Lakers trapped, forced a turnover, and Michael Cooper drove to cut it to 4. But he missed. The Sixers raced the other way. Cheeks to the doctor. What would have been a 4-point game was now back to 8, and Coach Riley knew that the Sixer bench had outplayed his own. Game 1 to Philadelphia. The key was Richardson.
There's a difference today. If I have to devise a defense to stop Clint Richardson, we're in trouble.
I'd rather be underrated than overrated. And they want to underestimate and underrate me. That's their problem. But I'm going to come out and play hard, every time I'm out there. And if I hurt them, that's going to be their fault, and not mine.
Game 1 is gone, and Pat Riley must move forward. With his custom-tailored suits and unruffled demeanor, Riley is a man who combines style and control. He takes a philosophical approach to basketball.
There really is a thin line between, success and failure. And we have miniature successes and failures every day. Winning a championship is only a very fleeting moment. The enjoyment is the process of getting there. And you can't always measure success by how high you finish or how much money you have. The only way you can measure your success is how you feel about yourself.
Pat Riley had a 9-year NBA playing career. Coming off the bench, he had to support his teammates, and he has brought that emphasis on team play to his coaching.
I think Riley's biggest asset as a coach is his ability to relate to us. Riley, by being an ex-player, can relate to the frustrations and the houses that we have to deal with on the court as well as off the court.
He makes us play as a unit, and that's why Coach Riley plays an important part, because he knows that if we don't play as a unit, all the talent that we have, we can't win.
Riley was faced with a difficult adjustment when his playing career ended. He stayed home, then became a broadcaster, then an assistant coach. Now he's where he wants to be.
I don't think you should ever work just to make a living. You have to live for your work.
Before Game 2, Norman Nixon was looking for what hit him.
Yeah, I want to see what happened.
Though he'd led the Lakers with 26 points, when he went to the hospital that evening, he found he had been playing with a separated shoulder.
Mess me up, man.
In their locker room, referees have game plans too.
We'll clean up the hands real quick. If Landsberger comes in to play Malone, then you're going to get, you're going to have to worry because physically he can't play Malone, and so we're not going to let him push Malone around.
Getting to the playoffs is based on merit for the officials as well. Head referee Darryl Garrettson knows that respect, pride, and money are riding on his calls. There's definitely tension, but he says it doesn't get to him.
I think there's a certain amount of pressure. I think that probably more than anything, I think the playoffs are a lot of fun. So I don't see any additional pressure.
How you doing, sir? Jay, how are you? We do need a little bit of room around the outside, okay? We don't have any problems as far as the timeouts. I'll talk to the coaches about that, okay? Have any questions?
Just having some problem with it coming over the back. We don't know how far we can go in the boxing out and how far they're allowed to go.
We're going to make everybody jump if they want rebounds. As far as the inside play is concerned, we're going to allow people to go body to body as we have all year, okay? If a man makes an offensive move after that body to body and his movement is restricted, then that's a hand check as far as we're concerned. Okay? Have a good one, gentlemen. All right? Easy, easy.
Sometimes they control the flow. But big games have big controversies, and Game 2 had many of them.
Ball touches up there. Score to go. Ball touches up above.
Refs are rarely likely to make friends on the bench, particularly not in a high-stakes game like this.
Tell you what, steak dinner.
Game 2 was close all the way. The Lakers jumped out in the first half, but the Sixers bounced back. And in the fourth quarter, the game was very much up for grabs. Jack Nicholson, who came east, thought the Lakers were going south. With 8 minutes remaining, the game seemed about to turn. Moses Malone was called for his 5th foul. And even Moses' son knew the Lakers had the advantage they'd wanted. Off the bench came Sixer reserve Earl Curidan, and the Lakers looked to attack it. Turned out to be the other way around. Curidan rebounded. The Laker offense came up short when it tried to exploit it. They forced the ball to Kareem, but Curidan denied him and started a Sixer serve. Although not known as a shooter, Curidan could not resist his own version of the skyhook. This was Cinderella stuff. But with Moses still sitting on the bench, the Philly fans were not yet secure. But what had seemed to be a break for the Lakers became a Sixer breakaway as Philadelphia slashed open a tight game. The Spectrum crowd went wild. They've been waiting so long for the satisfying thrill of victory. The Lakers had been beaten by yet another unlikely hero, and the Sixers walked off the court 2 games up, their confidence growing, a team of superstars and role players sensing their time had come. The fans loved it, and Earl Curidan got their respect and his teammates' praise and jive.
For him to get in and play like he did, I think that's a credit to him. And when he threw a sky hook on Kareem, you know, he probably saw so many of them, he knew how to do it himself.
Earl Curidan is not going to be able to walk around the streets of Detroit and have people look at him and wonder who he is. They're going to know. There's Earl Curidan 76s. Let me doubt.
While the Sixers savored their win, they still had to face the Lakers in L.A., but they pointed to their excellent record on the road. It feels nice in Southern California. It's a land of promise and performance, and the Los Angeles Lakers fit their town perfectly. They play well and look good doing it. The city of Los Angeles has a soul and pride of its own, and if it sometimes seems that everyone there came from somewhere else, there is at least unity in where they want to go. It seems strange to see Moses Malone out of doors in the bright sunlight. He always looks so at home inside on the basketball court, but for Game 3, Moses was relaxed. Laker fans had their own ideas about dealing with the man.
They're going to attack him from below. They're going to attack him from above. The old rock'em sock'em, low high, 2-man stack.
They got to roll over the big man, Moses.
Moses who?
The Lakers knew who, they just didn't know how.
Hey, I don't know what to do with Moses.
Yeah, I've been thinking about sending a couple of my boys over to the hotel, breaking his legs.
Well, he's like your mother, you know. He's always there.
He's a blessing.
It was going to be a struggle. No one likes to be defeated. The Lakers had returned home, but they had to go up against the power of power. The man was a gang of his own. A thriller. Didn't want to be pushing this guy too far. Moses was in his own world. The Laker girls were playing at being tough, but the Lakers were being played tough. The game was tight. Cunningham was nervous and Riley unsatisfied.
In spite of our ineptness in the second quarter and third quarter, the game was still right there, 76 up.
Riley changed strategy, put Kareem on Moses. No one else had handled the job. Cunningham banked on Malone.
If you're a great competitor, you want to play against the best. And that's what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is today in this game. And Moses knows that if he outplays Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then he's the best.
The Sixers went to Moses, and Moses went to work. just getting started. He rebounded and fired off the outlet pass. When Kareem challenged the outside shot, Moses put the ball on the floor and muscled his way inside. The man was inspired. Again he drove and showed some finesse. Riley could call time, but he couldn't stop the Sixers from reeling off 8 straight points, and what had been a close game became a runaway. It was bad news for the Sunshine Boys. And some fair-weather fans headed for the highway. The Sixer bench was just about on fire. A 17-point victory, a 3-0 lead. A big man who was smoking, Moses and the Sixers had the Lakers shaken.
Moses, to me, right now, is the greatest center in the game. He does it for him offensively, defensively. People talk about his rebounding ability. He's a great scorer, too. Block shots. He does everything Philadelphia needs.
For the 3rd straight game, Philadelphia had beaten up on the Lakers' depleted front court and relentlessly ruled the rebounding.
You know, whoever really dominates or wins that department is probably going to win the series. I mean, that's wherein lies, you know, the stuff those rings are made out of.
One story with a championship ring to it was Moses Malone. Playing against the best, he was producing his best. Never the most verbal of men, Moses spoke like a prophet.
You know, I like guys like Rams. You know, guys that come out there push me, because the more they push me, the feel like the stronger I get, and I get more aggressive. Then I know what I got to do.
Wait a minute. The more they push you, the stronger you get.
Oh yeah, I love pushing.
How do you figure that now? That doesn't make sense.
That's how I feel. I like the sweat. You know, I like to get that sweat in and make me more aggressive. I like people to bang me, and then I feel much stronger.
No team had ever rebounded from a 3-0 deficit, and the Sixers weren't just thinking win, they wanted history.
Playing for the World Championship, and you're playing against a team that's on a crusade, that's very talented and very committed.
We want to end it in 4. We want someone to remember this team.
For Game 4, fans swept in from everywhere.
We believe 4 straight for the Sixers because we came 3,000 miles from Maui, Hawaii to see it.
The Sixers had come from the opposite direction with the same intention. They were on a roll, really sizzling, and were there to wrap up Game 4 and take the championship with them. Inside the Forum, Laker fans didn't know if their team had the firepower.
$100.
No, we're embarrassed at our prices.
I got to see if they're going to win tonight first.
Oh, okay.
You might have to give me a feeling.
What is this program?
At the beginning of the series, the Lakers had been trying to become the first team in 14 years to win back-to-back championships. Now they were just trying to win 1 game. A year ago, Kareem was sizing up his 3rd NBA championship ring. Now, Julius Erving was eyeing his 1st. Fans throughout the country were pulling for him.
Julius Erving, he's the Lord without a ring. He's been waiting for this for his entire life.
His Sixer teams had come close for half a decade, but had never been able to take it all, and Erving remained wary.
I've gotten to the point where, as much as I love the game of basketball, you know, I've been hurt by it enough to not feel any pain anymore. But to put things in their proper perspective, I think the greatest lessons in life are learned through adversity and through disappointment. And, you know, everything about this profession is not peaches and cream.
The addition to the 76ers of Malone had freed Erving of a burden. Now he could be the complete player, leader, role player, and inspiration, and add to everyone's game.
You know, I've had great years in which individually I've been able to do any and everything I wanted to do on the court. In recent years, it's very important to understand that sometimes less is more, and by doing less of the things that you're individually talented or gifted to do, the team prospers by it.
I think the greatest compliment to Julius for me would be that at 33, I've seen him improve so much as a player in certain areas of his game. You know, he's a perfectionist, and that's why he's Dr. J.
For Irving, the quest was not for the ring itself, but for the challenge, quality, and work that would win it.
When a guy runs a race, if he's neck and neck with the guy or whatever, and he just looks over his shoulder and he sees himself a fraction ahead of him or whatever, that's really his most thrilling moment, I would think. You know, not sitting around, you know, talking about the fact that he won the race, but while he was running that race, you know, nothing that happens after that is going to parallel that feeling that was going on inside of that guy. And, you know, I think that's the true feeling of competition.
In Game 4, the Lakers came out battling, trying to avoid a quick knockout. They got off quickly, sparked by Magic Johnson's cheerleading enthusiasm and Coach Riley's pointed remarks. Despite playing without the injured Norm Nixon and Bob McAdoo, the Laker press stole the ball continually. L.A. dominated the first half, and Laker fans finally had something to cheer about. Magic Johnson led the pack, and Kareem jammed over Moses for 2 of his 18 first-half points. The Laker lead widened, and it looked like it might be their time at last. Johnson ran the offense, hit Jamal Wilkes with a pretty pass underneath, and the Lakers, who had been counted out, were coming back. Cunningham tried to slap some life into his team, and in the second half it started to work. The Sixer defense tightened. The Lakers were rejected. And Billy's men circled for the final run. Laker passes, so crisp in the first half, wilted under the Sixer heat and were fed into the Philly fast break. The 17-point Laker lead had dwindled to 2. It was the final 3 minutes, the time of champions. This was a long time coming. For years, they had begun as favorites, ended as runners-up, or worse. 3 finals in 4 years. They told their fans they owed them one, and now they had finally delivered. Moses Malone had had a champagne series and was voted most valuable player. This was vindication.
Hey, Mr. Tony, how did you feel when the buzzer went off and we had won the world?
The way I felt, I tell you, I didn't even know I had these.
For veterans Julius Erving and Bobby Jones, this was an intimate and personal triumph. For many on the squad, it was overwhelming.
He's just fantastic. He carried us in the first game of this series. Offensively, just did it.
Billy Cunningham had lived with failure and now had finally won the respect that comes with victory.
One thing about this team that they should be remembered for is they had the ability every year to come back and just keep on doing it and keep on doing it, and darn it, they climbed the mountain.
I think that we got the monkey off our back, that the city no longer can walk up to our players, myself, and call us a choker.
While Sixer owner Harold Katz celebrated his team's victory, Laker owner Dr. Jerry Buss showed grace in defeat.
My hat's off to the victors, and this is what it's all about, the winning, the losing, the struggle. It's great.
Winners a year before, the Lakers maintained their poise. Pat Riley congratulated the victors.
I would have much rather been on the other end of this thing tonight, but you know, I feel very good about our team. I'm going to celebrate my team tonight, and I'm also going to celebrate Billy Cunningham and Matty Gukas, Jack McMahon, Moses, Doc, Andrew, Maurice, all of them, because I think they deserve it. So I'm going to raise my glass to them too tonight.
Riley showed a great deal of class.
Thanks a lot. Great job.
You deserve it, no doubt.
Clean all those skeletons out of there.
Yeah.
Dr. J finally cleaned the skeletons out of his closet. And, you know, they happen to wear purple and gold 2 out of the last 3 years. You know, my heart's out to him. God bless him. He deserves it.
NBA Commissioner Larry O'Brien presented the trophy to the champion Sixers.
And the world champions are here with us right now, the Philadelphia 76ers, the champions of the world.
Hello.
The 76ers own this forever. The world
This was our time. It was all a matter, of the plan for us, and we didn't write the script. We just lived it out.
The 76ers flew back to Philadelphia with their first NBA title in 16 years. The city loves a winner, and after so many near misses, the Sixers love to give them one. The 76ers no longer owed anything to anyone. All debts were paid in full, and the streets were jammed with Philadelphians who wanted to let their team know how